Bloomingdale's after my breakfast meeting tomorrow, in a fitting room, where I'm prepared to ask her what she'd like." Wes laughed and shook his head. "That's one way to go about it. Feel free to bring the book if you want to reference a specific scene." "Speaking of books," Max said, but Wes cut him off. "There's a line at the signing table. I'll catch you after." He didn't wait for Max's response. He was on too much of a high from the Q&A. Now wasn't the time to get into Book 2, or the current lack thereof. He had a line of women waiting for him, and he wasn't one to disappoint. Wes scrawled his name across the title page, along with his signature phrase, "Enjoy the journey." He slid the book back to the woman, enjoying the flush that grew in her cheeks as her hand accidentally brushed his. "Thanks for coming out tonight," he said, lifting his rocks glass in a gesture of cheers before he threw back what was left of his scotch. The woman from the Q&A, the one so curious about his research, bit her lip and smiled, glancing behind her to the handful of other women still in line. When she looked back at him, she swiped a tongue over her painted bottom lip and tucked her blonde waves behind her ear. "Will you be staying for drinks after the signing?" she asked, her tone full of innocence, but her blue eyes brimming with heat. Wes noted his empty glass and gave her one of his patented Wes Hartley author grins. "It does look like I'm in need of a refill," he said. She pressed her hands to the table and leaned forward, whispering in his ear. "Then I guess I'll see you at the bar." "I guess you will." No sooner had she ducked out of line than the next woman placed her book on the signing table. "Can I get a picture with you?" she asked. "Ooh, I'll take it for you," the woman behind her said, "if you'll take one of me and Wes with my phone when you're done." And there she was, the woman without a question at all, who just wanted to talk oral sex, rounding the table before he had time to think. And then she slid onto his goddamn lap. Wes glanced toward the bar where Max still sat, and the man raised both a brow and a glass. Wes shrugged. This was the part of the job he'd never get tired of. He encouraged the woman to wrap her arms around his neck, then tilted her down into an almost kiss. She gasped. "This is just like that first time in Natasha's apartment, where Ethan tells her the relationship can't move forward, and then he lays her out on the butcher block table and—" "The oral sex," Wes said. She swallowed hard, apparently unable to respond as she squirmed against his thighs. "Say cheese," the other woman said, and he flashed his grin toward the phone aimed in their direction. No, he'd sure as hell never get tired of this. Max was gone by the time the signing had ended, no doubt only there to make sure he sold a respectable amount. Judging by the fact that the bookseller had to return to the shop to grab more stock, he'd say he had. But the text his agent had sent still hung in the air. "Don't fuck anyone who might fuck up your sales. Send me that new manuscript ASAP, and call me when you get to Chicago. I still think you're crazy as hell for leaving New York, but who am I, other than the guy who sends you those big, fat checks? Just remember what we have riding on Book 2. Looked like Max didn't need to continue their conversation face to face. All that had to be said was right there. Wes looked up from his phone to find the blonde who'd offered to buy his next drink, waiting on a stool with 2 rocks glasses in front of her, crystal clear liquid in each. "I'm a vodka girl myself," she said. "I hope that's okay." Wes smiled. "I'm not a picky man," he said, lifting one of the glasses to his lips and taking a sip. Heat spread from his tongue to his throat and straight to his core. "You a New Yorker?" he asked, and she gave him a coy smile. "I'm from Philly, actually. Took the train up just for your event. Heading back home in the morning." She drank. "Look, I don't do things like this. Ever. But your book, it just... You're Ethan, right? Meandering down this road and never really finding what you want. I mean, that's the title. Down This Road." "It's a story," he said, voice steady.